Some of you are not tired because of what you're doing. You're exhausted because of what you're thinking about doing. You lie awake at night not because you're moving too much, but because your mind is running laps around fear, failure, and what ifs. But tell me, how many miracles have died in your imagination? How many blessings have suffocated in the graveyard of hesitation? How many doors never opened because you never reached out your hand? There comes a time when thinking must bow to doing, and that time is now. They found her sitting at the edge of the bridge, not jumping, not crying, just staring into nothing. Cars rushed behind her, life moved on below her, but her soul had paused, frozen. Not by fear, not by loss, but by the weight of everything she hadn't done. Dreams that had never taken breath, ideas that never made it past the page, 1,000 starts without a finish. She wasn't broken by tragedy, she was paralyzed by her own mind. She had become a prisoner to her own hesitation. Let me ask you a question that demands honesty from the depths of your soul. How many dreams have died inside you, not because life crushed them, but because you kept thinking and never moved? There is a hidden suffering few dare to talk about. It's not the suffering of failure, it's the agony of never trying, the torment of potential unfulfilled, the quiet mourning of a life imagined but never lived. You tell yourself you're waiting for clarity, for the right time, for the perfect plan, but deep down you know the truth. You're not waiting, you're hiding. You're protecting yourself from what might go wrong, and in the process, everything that could go right is slipping away. You weren't born to live stuck in your head. You weren't given breath just to sit on the sidelines while others run. There is something inside you that was meant to move. There is power in you that will never rise until you stop thinking and start acting. Some of you have been circling the same decision for years. You've analyzed it to death, prayed it numb, journaled it thin, and still done nothing. And the longer you wait, the heavier it gets. The longer you think, the more reasons you find to stay where you are. Listen to me, thinking is not progress. Wisdom is not hesitation. There comes a time when another plan, another strategy, another deep dive into your thoughts is a strength. It's cowardice disguised as wisdom. And if you don't interrupt it, if you don't snap out of it, one day you'll look back and realize you've wasted the most powerful years of your life stuck in a waiting room you built with your own doubt. You don't need another sign. You don't need another green light. What you need is a holy fire in your chest that says, enough. Enough with the delay. Enough with the excuses. Enough with the mental gymnastics. You're not stuck because of life. You're stuck because of overthinking. There are some doors that only open when you walk toward them, not before. They don't open to contemplation. They don't swing for anxiety. They unlock when motion meets momentum. You're waiting for confirmation, but what if the confirmation comes after you move? What if the miracle is on the other side of your first step? I know what it feels like to be afraid, to have 1,000 voices in your head telling you why it won't work. I know what it's like to feel that if you make the wrong move, it'll all fall apart. But can I tell you something soul-shaking? The real danger isn't in moving forward, it's in standing still. Because stillness breeds decay. Overthinking is not neutral, it's corrosive. It erodes your confidence. It eats away at your courage. It turns today's opportunity into tomorrow's regret. You are not a robot, you are not a machine, you are a living, breathing, powerful creation. You were made for movement, for purpose, for change. And no matter how much logic you apply, no matter how many what-ifs you replay, your life will never change until your actions change. You can't solve your way out of fear. You have to do your way through it. Some of you are carrying dreams so big they scare you. It's good. If it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. But don't let fear lie to you. Don't let it convince you that you're not ready. Don't let it tell you to wait until everything is in place. Let me break it to you with love and fire. The people who change the world are never fully ready. They move anyway. They jump, scared. They walk into the unknown with trembling hands and pounding hearts, and somehow, miraculously, things begin to move around them. Because life honors movement, the universe bows to boldness. The energy of momentum creates openings you could never think your way into. Let me ask you, what are you sitting on right now? What have you buried under layers of logic and delay? What vision keeps coming back to you when the world goes quiet? That's your call. That's your assignment. And the longer you think instead of do, the more it rots inside you. You can't hold purpose hostage. It will fight you. It will haunt you. You can try to silence it, distract it, deny it, but it will not die quietly because it was meant to live. There is a version of you, stronger, freer, bolder, on the other side of action, but you'll never meet that version by staying where you are. You've got to leap, you've got to rise, you've got to do what scares you, not because it's safe, but because it's right. And here's the truth that most people don't want to admit. Overthinking is not just a habit, it's an addiction to safety. It's an obsession with control. You're not analyzing because you care, you're analyzing because you're scared. But life doesn't honor fear, it honors faith. Not blind faith, not reckless leaps, but the kind of faith that moves even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. The kind of faith that says, I may not know what's next, but I know I can't stay here. This is not about hustle. This is not about grinding. This is about obedience to the call that's been burning in your bones. This is about honoring the reason you're still breathing. This is about doing what you were made to do, even if it's messy, even if it's hard, even if no one claps. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You need action. Start with what you have. Begin where you are. Stop looking for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Waiting for them is just a beautiful excuse to stay stuck. The enemy of greatness is not failure, it's inaction. It's the slow, subtle, silent erosion of dreams that never leave the mind. You are not here to die full of potential. You are not here to take your dreams to the grave. You are here to live out loud, to run your race, to leave this world empty because you poured out everything you had. Don't let fear keep you quiet. Don't let doubt keep you still. Don't let overthinking steal the life you were meant to live. It's time to stop analyzing and start building. Stop wondering and start walking. Stop thinking and start doing. Yes. Let us go deeper now into the very soul of your calling, your delay, and the sacred war within you. Let us pierce the veil of hesitation and reach for the fire buried beneath your doubt. This message isn't for the passive. This message is for the one who knows there's more, who feels the weight of potential pressing against the inside of their ribs like thunder trapped inside a bottle. You feel it. That pressure, that ache, that sacred unrest. It's not anxiety, it's destiny knocking. You've convinced yourself that your silence is safety, but silence can become a cage and safety can become a slow death. You're not tired because you're busy. You're tired because you're resisting the very thing you were born to do. You're mentally exhausted, not from action, but from the war inside your mind between what you should do and what you're afraid to do. That inner civil war is draining your life force. You're leaking power every day you delay. It's not because you're weak, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you're standing at the edge of something sacred and you know that once you step out, there's no going back. And that scares you, because stepping forward will demand more of you than ever before. It will stretch your soul, it will expose your flaws, it will require sacrifice. But listen closely now. Comfort has never built anything eternal. Nothing lasting, nothing meaningful, nothing transformative was born out of convenience. There comes a time when overthinking becomes rebellion, not against logic, not against fear, but against the deep purpose woven into your bones. There comes a time when your inaction becomes dishonor. You dishonor your own soul when you keep it bound to the prison of what-ifs. You were not given this vision to bury it under excuses. You were not entrusted with this dream just to overanalyze it to death. There are some assignments so weighty, so divine, that delaying them is dangerous. And I must tell you this with love that burns like holy fire. Every time you delay, something dies. A connection that could have changed your life. A moment that was meant to shift your direction. A door that will not stay open forever. Yes, I said it. Doors close. Opportunities vanish. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you weren't ready. Because you kept waiting for peace to show up before you acted. Not knowing that peace only visits those who are willing to move through chaos. You have been conditioned to believe that clarity comes first, but true clarity only comes through obedience. You cannot wait your way into confidence. You build confidence through courageous motion. One act of courage becomes the seed for the next, and before you know it, the fog starts to lift, the road starts to appear, the power starts to flow. Not because you thought your way into it, but because you moved. There is a fire that can only be found in motion. Some breakthroughs are movement activated. They do not come by thinking, they come by stepping. And the longer you sit, the colder that fire gets. You were never meant to live cold. You were never meant to shrink. You were made to burn, to carry the flame of impact, to leave footprints of change wherever your life walks. The world is full of thinkers who never became builders, doers who never dared, dreamers who never delivered. Don't join them. Don't let your life become a monument to what could have been. Don't let your name be remembered as someone who had great ideas, but no fruit. What use is a dream never born? What good is a vision that never sees light? You've been asking for signs, but what if you are the sign? What if your very breath, your sleepless nights, your deep ache for more? That is the sign. You don't need thunder to shake the ground. You need one brave decision, one undeniable act, one move that says, I will no longer be defined by my delay. There's a boldness waiting to rise in you, a fierce, unshakable resolve that's been buried under layers of hesitation. But I tell you now, it's time to tear the veil. It's time to interrupt the cycle. It's time to silence the voices of doubt that have taken up permanent residence in your mind. They are squatters, not your masters. You do not owe them another minute. They've robbed enough from you. It's time to evict them with action. And if you fail, then fail forward. Let your failure be proof you lived. Let it be evidence that you dared. But don't let the fear of falling keep you chained to the ground. There are lessons that only come through movement. There is wisdom born only in the wild of obedience. You can read all the books, hear all the teachings, but until you put your hand to the plow, nothing will grow. Start ugly, start unqualified, start unsure. Just start, because the power is not in perfection, the power is in your presence. When you show up with full heart and trembling hands, something shifts in the atmosphere, something opens, something holy awakens in the earth. You weren't designed to have it all figured out. You were designed to walk in faith, not formula. You may feel small, but you're carrying something massive. You may feel unprepared, but you're pregnant with purpose. And if you don't move, you will miscarry the very thing you were created to birth. You've waited long enough. You've sat in the classroom of fear long enough. Now it's time to graduate into purpose. There is someone waiting on the other side of your obedience. Someone you haven't met. Someone who needs the gift inside you. And your overthinking is robbing them too. This isn't just about you anymore. Your delay is a chain reaction of absence. Every time you hold back, something essential is withheld from the world. You were not given breath to analyze life. You were given breath to change it. Don't make your mind a graveyard of what-ifs. Don't let your thoughts become the tomb of your purpose. Set it free. Give it movement. Let it rise, even if it stumbles. Let it live, even if it shakes. This is not the season for small moves. This is the season to leap. You've been in the wilderness of worry long enough. Now it's time to cross over. And you won't cross by thinking, you'll cross by doing, by daring, by defying the voices that said you couldn't, shouldn't, or weren't enough. What's waiting for you on the other side is not just success, it's alignment, it's peace, it's strength, It's identity. It's that feeling of finally being home inside your own skin because you're living what you were born to do. That feeling does not come through thinking. It comes through action. Stop trying to be ready. Start being real. Start where you are. Use what you have. Give what you can. Trust what you carry. You are enough for the next step. You don't need the full staircase. You just need to move your foot. That's how momentum begins. That's how fear breaks. That's how destinies awaken. Let me tell you one last truth before we continue further. You will never be free until you move. Because freedom is not the absence of fear, it's the presence of courage. And courage isn't something you wait for. Courage is a decision. A defiant decision to say, even if I'm afraid, I won't bow to it anymore. Now let me speak directly to that part of you still holding back, the part that whispers, what if I'm not good enough? Oh, I hear you. That voice is cunning, familiar, disguised as wisdom, when it's really fear dressed up in logic. But let me tell you something holy and unshakable. Your worth is not proven by success. Your worth is proven by your willingness to begin. The lie that you must be polished to be powerful has kept too many people paralyzed in potential. You don't need polish, you need permission. And here it is, you are allowed to start messy. Every great movement began with uncertainty. Every story of transformation began with a trembling step. Nobody begins on a mountaintop. They begin in the valley with shaky knees and raw determination. You may not be ready for the whole journey, but you are ready for your next move. And that's all you need. One holy move forward. It will cost you comfort, yes. But comfort has become your prison guard, keeping you away from the life that is screaming to be born through your hands. You were not created to die with ideas still buried in your bones. There is a sacred cry rising from the ground where your dreams lie dormant. They are waiting for you, not to think about them, not to talk about them, but to do them. The earth responds to action. The air shifts when you decide. Creation itself leans forward when someone fully wakes up and says, I will no longer wait for perfect conditions. I am the condition. You're looking for a sign. Listen to the urgency in your spirit. That inner fire is not random. It is evidence that you were chosen for something specific, something divine, something only you can do the way you do it. You're not just carrying a gift. You are the gift. But if you bury it beneath your fear, the world is robbed of something only you could bring. And oh, how much beauty has been lost because of silent fear. How many songs unsung, how many books unwritten, how many breakthroughs delayed, not because of outside opposition, but because of inner hesitation. The most dangerous enemy is not out there, it is in the delay of the willing. The heart that says, I'll do it later, becomes the soul that never does. You think you're protecting yourself from failure, but you are protecting the world from your greatness. And I must say it loud now with thunder in my chest. The time for protection is over. The time for release has come. You've been asking the wrong questions. You've asked, what if I fail? When you should have asked, what if I succeed and finally become who I was created to be? You've asked, what if I'm not ready? When you should have asked, what if this hesitation costs me everything? You've asked, what if people judge me? When you should have asked, what if people never get to experience what I carry because I was too afraid to show up? It's time to flip the questions. It's time to challenge the challenge, to look the fear in the face and say, you no longer own me. Because the truth is this, you are not the anxious thoughts, you are not the doubt, you are not the delay, you are the fire behind all of it, trying to break free. You are the storm, you are the earthquake waiting to happen in a dry, stagnant world. You want miracles? Move. Because miracles often wear the disguise of small beginnings. That phone call you keep avoiding, that first paragraph you haven't written, that person you've been meaning to forgive, that class you've been meaning to take, that's the miracle in seed form. Don't despise small starts. Heaven doesn't despise the beginning, it blesses it. And the moment you begin, invisible help begins to move. When your feet hit the ground with purpose, the entire atmosphere starts to respond. Resources begin to find you. People you've never met begin to speak your name in rooms you've never entered. Doors begin to creak open where before there were only walls. But none of that happens if you stay still. Faith lives in the doing. You cannot think your way into impact. You must walk it out. There is no shortcut to the reward. There is no bypassing the obedience. And there is no substitute for starting. Don't romanticize the idea. Don't get high off the potential. Potential is beautiful, but if you never act on it, it becomes poison. It turns in on itself. And then you begin to decay under the weight of everything you could have been. But that is not your story. I feel it in the spirit. You are shifting even now. Something is rising in you that can no longer be denied. A roar is forming where there was once a whisper. A fire is spreading where there was once only smoke, because the truth has found you. And once you know, you can no longer unknow. Once you've heard this call, you can no longer unhear it. The delay must end now, not tomorrow, not next month, now. Not because someone is pressuring you, but because the hour demands it. Because destiny has been tapping your shoulder for too long, and now it's pounding on your chest. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need to wait until you feel like it. You just need to move. Let your hands write. Let your mouth speak. Let your feet walk. Let your gift breathe. You have held your breath long enough. It's time to exhale, to release the river that has been dammed up behind fear. The world is not waiting for your perfection. It is waiting for your presence, your authentic, trembling, unpolished presence, because that is where your power lives, in the real you, the unfiltered you, the daring, bold, raw you who no longer asks for permission to show up. You don't need permission to be powerful. You already are. Now I say to you with holy urgency, don't just agree with this message. Don't just nod and cry and whisper, that's good. Do something. Take what you've heard and move. Not next year, not when the kids are grown, not when the bills are paid, not when you're more confident. Now, in your imperfection, in your fear, in your confusion, do it scared, do it shaking, do it unsure, but for the love of everything sacred, do it. And when you do, when your action finally matches your inner fire, watch what happens. Watch how your world changes. Watch how strength begins to rise where there was once only hesitation. Watch how boldness flows like a river. Watch how joy comes rushing back. Because joy is not a reward for thinking. So stop overthinking. Start doing. Start now. Start fully. And don't stop until your life screams, I did not die with my purpose still inside me. Let the world feel the weight of your obedience. Let the ground tremble beneath the sound of your steps. Let your story become proof that delay is not destiny, and that when you move, the impossible bows. And listen to me now, with every fiber of your being. If you don't rise now, if you don't act now, if you don't grab this sacred urgency by the throat and declare enough waiting, then years from now you will ache in the silence of regret. And let me tell you, regret doesn't whisper. Regret screams. It screams in the quiet hours when the world has gone to sleep and you're left alone with the reality of what could have been. It's not failure that wounds the soul the most, it's the never trying. It's the knowing that you had the power to create, to move, to build, to break chains, and you let it pass you by. But the good news, you still have breath. You still have fire in your lungs. That means there's still time. Time to flip the script. Time to snatch back every moment you gave away to doubt. Time to look that mountain in the eye and say, you won't intimidate me anymore. I was made for this climb. Time to stop asking the world for validation and start validating yourself through the discipline of action. Because the truth is this, no one can do the work for you. No one can push the boulder up the hill on your behalf. It is your hands, your sweat, your resolve. That is the path That is the way, not ease, not applause. Grit, glorious, divine grit. Grit, born not from ego, but from sacred purpose. You were born with a destiny engraved in your soul, not meant to be theorized, but activated. And make no mistake, your inaction affects more than just you, it impacts generations. You may think this delay is personal, but it's not, it's generational. Your obedience isn't just about your dream, it's about unlocking doors for those who will walk behind you. You're not just fighting for your progress, you're fighting for a legacy. And if you don't break the cycle of hesitation now, it might never be broken. So tear down the wall of excuses you've been hiding behind. Burn the bridge to the old you, the one who always needed certainty before courage. Let that version die today, because the person you're becoming isn't waiting for guarantees. They're fueled by a higher fire, a hunger that cannot be silenced, a knowing that action is sacred, that the moment you move, you become a magnet for the miraculous. And hear me, because this truth is going to pierce some of you deep. You do not need to be fearless to begin. You just need to refuse to be ruled by fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is walking anyway. It is standing on the battlefield with your knees shaking and your heart pounding, but still lifting your sword because you know your cause is greater than your comfort. It is doing it while afraid, doing it while unsure, doing it while the critics whisper, because you were not born to be soft, you were born to be bold. Let me tell you what overthinking really is. It is a spiritual war waged in your mind. It is your purpose wrestling with your past, your calling trying to rise above your conditioning. Overthinking is the enemy's most subtle tactic because it looks responsible, it sounds reasonable, but it is deadly. It's a quiet killer. It doesn't strike fast. It wears you down day by day, hour by hour, thought by thought, until your courage is paralyzed under the weight of what if. But I declare this right now. No more what ifs. No more imagining the worst. No more drowning in analysis. From this moment forward, the question is not what if I fail, but what if I fly? Not what if I fall, but what if I soar? There is greatness in your bones, and you've been waiting for permission to access it. But let this truth thunder through your soul. You are the permission. You say you're waiting on the right time, but I say the right time is an illusion used by the hesitant. There is no perfect moment, only the one you decide to own. The clock does not pause while you ponder. Time is not your friend while you delay. You must move now, because hesitation is a thief that wears the mask of wisdom. Look at your hands. These are the hands that can build. These are the hands that can write, can paint, can plant, can heal, can lead. These hands were never meant to be clenched in fear. They were meant to be moving. Look at your eyes. These are the eyes that have seen pain, yes, but they are also the eyes that can see vision. You've seen enough to know what doesn't work. Now is the time to see differently, to see beyond obstacles and into opportunity, to see not what's in front of you, but what's inside you. And let me remind you, it is powerful. Every revolution began with one person who refused to sit still. Every change started with one soul who said, enough is enough. You don't need a crowd to start. You don't need consensus. You need conviction. And conviction doesn't wait for comfort. It walks into the storm and says, even if the world is against me, I will not back down. There's something sacred about action. It baptizes your doubts in fire. It purifies your motives. It reshapes your mind. You can't think your way into transformation. You must act your way into it. And when you do, you will discover a power you never knew you had, because movement awakens miracles. Action is the sound that breaks open heaven's vaults. You've prayed long enough. You've dreamed long enough. You've cried and journaled and planned long enough. Now it's time to build. Start scared. Start small. Start without applause. But start. Let the whisper of fear become the background noise to the roar of purpose rising in you. You were not made for shadows. You were not made to sit on the sidelines of your own life. You were made to run, to build, to rise, to lead, to stretch beyond what you thought possible, and enter the sacred territory called becoming. You are not behind, you are not too late, you are not unqualified, you are ready. You've just been tricked into believing that readiness means perfection. It doesn't. Readiness means willingness. And if you're willing to fall, willing to learn, willing to keep showing up, then you are more prepared than you think. So what will you do now? Will you scroll past this moment? Will you let it slip into the sea of good intentions? Or will you let it mark you? Will you let it be the fire that burned away the lie of delay forever? Because now's the moment to rise. Now's the hour to act. And once you move, don't stop. Don't retreat. Don't doubt. Let the world watch in awe as you build what they said was impossible. Let your obedience echo through eternity. And when your time here ends, may your name be remembered not for what you intended to do, but for what you dared to do. And now let me speak straight to the heart of those who have been stuck in the prison of perfectionism, shackled by the illusion that unless every piece is in place, you cannot begin. Let me tear down that lie for you, because it's not excellence you're after, it's safety. But safety has never birthed anything eternal. Safety never created a breakthrough. Safety never raised a vision from the ashes. You keep waiting for the stars to align, but it was never about the stars. It's about the fire in your soul. It's about that holy unrest deep inside you that keeps waking you up in the middle of the night, reminding you that you were born for more than thinking, worrying, second-guessing, and waiting. Do not let the fear of making the wrong move paralyze you into making no move at all, because indecision is a decision. Hesitation is a choice, and every moment you spend in delay is a seed you fail to plant. You say you're afraid of failure, but what if I told you that not moving is the greater failure? That the deeper tragedy is not falling on your face, but living your life face down in fear, never standing at all. The path to purpose will require risk. But what a sacred risk it is to step into the unknown, believing that something greater lives on the other side. And let me tell you something that will confront you and free you in the same breath. You will never feel completely ready. And that is a good thing, because readiness is not the absence of discomfort, it is the presence of faith in the middle of uncertainty. The discomfort you feel is the stretching of your capacity. The unease is a holy invitation to grow. You are being invited into a life that demands your courage, your vulnerability, your full heart. You must stop romanticizing the idea of someday. Someday is a lie dressed in pretty language. Someday never shows up. It is a mirage, a distraction, a tool used by fear to keep you frozen. But today is real. Today has weight. Today is bursting with possibility. Today is the only ground on which you can build anything that matters, and so you must rise on this day, not tomorrow, not next year, but this moment. Because the version of you that you are destined to become is waiting on the other side of your obedience today. Some of you are waiting for clarity. You say, if only I could see the whole path, I would move. But listen, clarity is the reward of action, not its prerequisite. You move first, and then the way is made clear. You don't get to see the entire staircase before you take the first step. That's not how the sacred journey works. You take the step, then the next one appears. And it is in the motion that momentum is born. It is in the walking that the walls begin to fall. You don't think your way into faith. You walk your way into fire and find yourself refined by it. There is a sleeping giant within you, and the only thing keeping it dormant is your fear of discomfort. But let me ask you, what has comfort ever built? What revolution came from staying the same? What masterpiece was ever born from ease? Every great movement began with a trembling hand. Every beautiful work began with a raw yes in the dark. And you right now have that same fire inside of you. You don't need credentials. You don't need applause. You don't need to have it all together. You need only to begin. Begin badly, begin broken, begin brave, but begin. You are not here to be a passive observer in the story of your own life. You are not here to watch others rise while you remain stuck in the swamp of what-ifs. You are not here to rehearse your pain like a song on repeat. You are here to create, to move, to overcome, to shake the ground with your relentless hope. So write the book, start the business, speak the truth, build the dream, leave the job that's killing your spirit, move to the place you've been too afraid to go. Say the thing you've been too afraid to say. This is your sign. This is your moment. This is your holy interruption. And if you fail, so be it. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the soil from which success grows. You must fall in love with failing forward. You must get comfortable with falling down, not as defeat, but as training. Every stumble teaches you how to walk stronger. Every closed door teaches you how to knock louder. Every disappointment becomes a teacher if you let it. Don't let the pain stop you, let it shape you. Let it forge you. Let it deepen your resolve. The weight you carry today is not meant to crush you. It's meant to build your strength. There is no such thing as a wasted effort when it's done in pursuit of purpose. Even your mess can become your message. Even your delay can become your discipline. But only if you move. Only if you stop overthinking and start doing. Stop waiting for a sign in the sky when you've already got a fire in your chest. You are the sign. You are the spark. You are the one you've been waiting for. And don't you dare measure your worth by the pace of your progress. You are not falling behind. You are not late. You are becoming. You are learning how to walk through fire without being burned. You are learning how to rise even when the world tells you to sit down. You are learning that the greatest battles are fought and won in the secret places where no one sees you, but heaven takes notice. So I speak now to the dreamers who've been paralyzed, to the leaders who've been silenced, to the visionaries who've shrunk to fit into spaces too small for their souls. Enough waiting, enough shrinking, enough postponing the life you were meant to live. The world does not need another silent visionary. It needs your voice, your fire, your relentless pursuit of truth. You must understand, there is a cost to inaction, just as surely as there is a cost to risk. And the cost of inaction is your becoming. The longer you stay in hesitation, the further you drift from the life you were meant to live. Not in some distant future, but now, today, in this hour, in this breath. Your greatness is not sleeping inside some future version of yourself. It is alive in the choices you make this moment. You're not being punished by your fear. You are being tested. Every delay is a voice asking you, will you let comfort rule your destiny, or will you rise in the face of uncertainty and move anyway? What you failed to start today will become your regret tomorrow. Not because you weren't capable, but because you gave fear more authority than the calling within you. And let me tell you something that should rattle you with truth. The world doesn't need another person who plays it safe. It doesn't need another person who waits until the water is still before they learn how to swim. The world needs warriors who will leap while the waves are crashing and learn to breathe underwater. The world needs people like you. People who are no longer willing to sacrifice their purpose on the altar of perfection. Stop negotiating with fear. It's a liar. It dresses itself in logic and wisdom, but behind its mask is a voice that would rather keep you comfortable than make you courageous. Fear will always offer you the illusion of protection, but it will never offer you transformation. And you weren't made for safety. You were made for impact. You weren't made for mediocrity. You were made to shake nations with your passion, to set fire to everything dead and dormant inside of you, and to awaken the parts of you that have been hidden in shadows for too long. You see, the resistance you feel, the tension between where you are and where you want to be, is not something to fear. It's a sign you're on the edge of your breakthrough. But so many people retreat at the edge. They feel the weight, the uncertainty, the stretch, and they interpret it as a sign to stop. But what if the pressure you're under is not meant to crush you, but to birth something inside of you? What if you're not being buried, you're being planted? Some of the most powerful transformations happen in silence, in darkness, where no one sees what's taking root. And it's there, in that quiet war zone of the soul, where decisions are made that change everything. But only if you stop analyzing the soil and trust the seed. Only if you stop waiting for the perfect climate and start digging in the dirt of what you do have right here, right now. You don't need more tools. You don't need more time. You need more trust in your own divine resilience. You need to believe that there's something in you that cannot be shaken, no matter how fierce the storm. Listen to me. You don't get your courage first and then move. You move. And that is what creates your courage. Action is the furnace where boldness is forged. You act, and something inside of you begins to rise. It's not that the fear vanishes. It's that your willingness to move becomes greater than your need for safety. And in that moment, you become unstoppable. Not because you're fearless, but because you've decided that your mission matters more than your emotion, that your calling is louder than your hesitation. So many people keep asking for signs, for confirmation, for someone else to say, now is the time. But what if no one comes? What if the very reason you're stuck is because you're still waiting for permission? Let me say this with every ounce of authority in my soul. You don't need permission to walk in purpose. You don't need a panel of opinions to approve your passion. The fire inside you is your confirmation. The unrest in your spirit is your green light. Stop waiting for someone else to awaken your potential. You are the one who must rise. And let us speak now about comparison, because it is one of the greatest thieves of action. You look to the left and to the right, watching others build, others move, others rise, and somewhere along the way you convince yourself that their success is a reason for your silence. But comparison is an assassin. It will kill your creativity, silence your momentum, and rob you of the joy that comes from your own journey. You are not here to replicate someone else's calling. You're not here to mirror their steps. You are here to run your own race with fire in your eyes and resolve in your steps. And if you stumble along the way, that stumble is part of the dance. It is not a disqualification. It is a demonstration that you are alive, that you are moving, that you are learning. Your imperfections are not a curse. They are the canvas on which real progress is painted. You do not need to be flawless to be faithful. You do not need to be finished to be effective. You just need to start. Let the fire in your bones consume the excuses. Let the roar inside of you silence the whispers of doubt. Let this be the moment where the overthinking ends and the doing begins. Let this be the hour where hesitation is drowned out by the sound of your first bold, trembling step. You don't need to have all the answers to begin. You need to have the willingness to trust that the answers will find you on the way. Because action is not just about achieving a goal, it's about becoming someone new. Every step forward reshapes your identity. Every move you make chips away at the lies you've believed, and every time you act despite the fear, you teach your soul that courage is stronger than comfort, that purpose is deeper than fear, that the unknown is not your enemy, it is the birthplace of everything miraculous. So now you stand at the threshold. The air is thick with decision. You can almost feel it, can't you? That sacred tension between who you've been and who you are meant to be. That tug deep within, pulling you away from the land of comfort and into the wild, blessed territory of movement. This is not just a moment, it is a summons, a holy cry echoing through the chambers of your soul, saying, enough waiting. Enough doubting, enough circling the same mountain year after year. You were not created to live in neutral. You were not shaped in the fire just to sit in the ashes. You were not called out of darkness just to remain paralyzed by what might go wrong. You were not given breath to merely exist. You were formed in power, forged in potential, and filled with a spark that refuses to be silenced any longer. That spark is ready to become a blaze, but you must move. You must stop rehearsing your fears and start walking by the inner certainty that you were made for more. It's time to burn the list of excuses. It's time to shut the mouth of hesitation. It's time to silence the critic in your head and stir up the warrior in your spirit. The world doesn't need another person frozen in thought. The world needs someone on fire with purpose. Someone who refuses to sleep through the wake-up call of destiny. Someone who understands that faith is not just believing, it's building even when no one else sees it. It's rising even when your knees are trembling. It's running even when the road ahead is covered in fog. You were meant to build, to rise, to create, to speak, to love, to move, to put your hand to the plow without looking back, to stop mourning over missed opportunities and make new ones, to stop burying your potential beneath anxiety and unleash it in the rawness of action. The life you want is not waiting for the perfect moment. It's waiting for your decision. One decision to begin, one decision to trust, one decision to lean into the storm instead of waiting for the skies to clear. And when you make that decision, when you finally silence the noise of overthinking and let the thunder of doing echo through your bones, everything will shift, not just around you, but within you. This is your line in the sand. This is the moment where your future self is begging you to act. Don't let fear write the next chapter of your story. Don't let hesitation steal one more day. Stand up, breathe deep, fix your focus, and step. Not tomorrow, not when it feels easier, not when the voices of doubt go silent. Now, because freedom is found in the doing, because victory lives in motion, and because your greatest life is not a thought away, it's a step away. So go, start, move, break through the walls of delay, and never, ever look back.